So welcome back to Orchid House. I'm Olivier in Fort Lauderdale, and today I want to talk about the fact that you need to know your growing area well and study it if you don't know it. I would say the most important factor is light. Obviously you have areas, so this my main growing area here is underneath a screened-in room. Here in South Florida most people put screened-in rooms over their pool. But I didn't want to do that because I want more space for my orchids. The thing is, those screens, they filter the sunlight, so the risk of burning your leaves is much lower. This is a great environment to grow your plants. And since we have monsoon rain sometimes in the summer, it also filters a little bit of the excessive rain, so that's not a bad thing. But okay, so everything here is kind of filtered. But for instance, my Vanda wall here is the most exposed of my entire growing area. So this is where I put the plants that need the most light. Now obviously you have different corners. Usually in the corners you have less light, and that's where you also need to understand which plant need more light. So here for instance in the corner I have a lot of shade, so that's where you see all the stanopias and the gongoras. Here you have a little phalaenopsis. I have another area where the phalaenopsis never get hit by the sun. So you have to know your area where there's more or less light. You can use shade cloth. This is just to increase the amount of shade that the area gets. So that's a great way to shelter the plants that don't need too much light. Now, obviously the light travels. It travels throughout the day. And so if you have like a phalaenopsis that really doesn't like any direct sunlight, and then maybe for like 1 hour a day it gets full sun, and that might be the noon sun, which here in Florida is the worst. That's not a good thing. So you have to be cognizant of where the light goes throughout the day. And obviously the light travels throughout the year. So in the summer the sun is much higher. Some areas will be shaded, and then in the winter the sun is much lower, and then they're going to be in full sun. So all of that is something that you need to learn if you don't know it, because light is an extremely important factor when you grow your orchids. My apologies. So ventilation is another one. So I have an area that enjoys a lot of great ventilation. But some areas have more ventilation than others. So using fans is a good thing. All the way up there you have a big fan that provides ventilation for the entire area. In the corner here you have a little vent, a little fan that blows, because there's very little air circulation there, and these stanopias, they get a lot of water, a lot of moisture, so they tend to get leaf diseases, foliar diseases, and so that helps the leaves to dry out faster. So you can always use supplemental fans in areas where there's very little ventilation. And most orchids need ventilation, so that's another thing. So you have to understand which areas of your growing area get good ventilation, which does not. And those areas that are kind of sheltered from the breeze or whatever, you can use fans to increase that ventilation, which is really critical. Temperature, this is a minimum and maximum thermometer, and I mean it's not super important throughout the year, because in the end, so what I'm trying to achieve here with the thermometer, and it shows you the highest reading and the lowest reading since you reset it, and so this is all in Fahrenheit, but I have 3 different ones, and I put them in 3 different areas of my growing area. You'd be surprised, obviously it's not a 10 degree Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius differential, but some areas are cooler than others. And when it really matters is when you have extremes, so super hot weather in the summer and very cold weather in the winter. And for me here, these plants, once we are below 50 Fahrenheit, and that is like around 10 Celsius, these are highly tropical plants. Most do not like that. So for me, knowing where the temperature is going to be the highest is very important. So it's not as important as light or as ventilation, but that still is something that does matter. And then you have your sprinklers. I mean, the entire area here is covered by sprinklers. You see them there. There are 3 different zones. I mean, if some areas are not covered, you need to know that. If some plants shouldn't be watered or not as often, they should not be hit by the sprinklers. So that's something that also you need to figure out. For me, the sprinklers typically in a normal situation, they may be completely off if it's really cold, but that's rare. And for us, cold means less than 70 degrees Fahrenheit or less than 20 Celsius during the daytime. Otherwise, winter is like once a week, and then during the summer twice a week, which I still water every day some of my plants, but then it's by hand. If it's extremely hot, extremely dry, I'll run the sprinklers more often, because the difference with the sprinklers, I can have them run for 15 minutes, and it's like the plant getting a real good soaking. When I do it by hand, I don't stay on more than 1 minute per plant, and usually just a few seconds. So that's obviously a big difference. So these are little details, but details that do matter. And so knowing your growing area is something that's really important to be successful in growing your orchids. That's all I wanted to share with you today. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you next time. Bye bye.